Yep. So, hello everyone. My name's
So,
Carl. Everyone knows me, and this is Martin. Whatever direction you're looking at, from me and Martin run under the hot end, and a few of you know us already. We are today going to be unboxing the longer 3D Orange 30, which came to me last week. And then
certainly did.
Martin's got a H2 hot end to
From BQ.
open up and have a play around with.
Yeah.
Let me just check everything, and we might have the Free Haven might pop in at some point.
We may get bombarded there.
my internet is playing havoc, but oh well. Just makes it more fun this weekend.
So basically, with the
Oh, we died again. That's my kids playing.
I was going to say, was that me or you? I've just dropped the link, so anybody who... It might be me, but well, it's running pretty stable. We'll see.
Yeah, I wish I could say mine was, because my 10-year-old would probably be in.
If mine's saying full, so yeah.
So I've put the little description there for a link to Longer, and I'll be perfectly honest. I knew about Longer a while ago, but it wasn't to do with 3D printers. It was to do with their A5, their laser engraver. Quite nice.
Yeah.
And I saw Tripod unbox it, and I was like, I like that one. But obviously,
I stumbled onto Longer quite a few years back when I was, well, a couple of years now, when I was article writing for a group, and they actually got one to review, and I was quite impressed, to be honest. Back then, it was a Longer 10 though. It was the small.
Yes, the tinier one. And it's, do you know what? Going through all the specs of them, they're very strange sizes. That's all I can say about them, is they're a little bit on the strange size, because you've got the 10. Let me find it. Watch this. The internet won't be working. It's working fine. So yeah. So the $120 for the Longer 10, Orange 10, and as per normal with everything you want to work, never works. Right.
Never works. But then you think about it, $120?
$120 for an entry-level resin printer isn't bad.
That isn't bad at all, to be honest.
So the printing size, the printing size isn't big. So it is. The Z is 140 millimeters, and then the build plate is 98 by 55. So it's not tiny. It's not massive.
No.
And to be honest, you've got quite a decent height on that. The Z is quite a decent height. And the one we've got is $149.
Which, again, isn't overly drastic on price.
Which is a 2K screen. And apparently it's got... There we go. So it says here, and I was reading about it, it's got an integrated with our Matrix UV LED design. Orange 30 will provide better performance, illumination, uniformity, intensity, and shorter time of curing. So that'd be quite interesting, because I had the Mono SE, which was quite nice to print with.
Yeah, you liked Mono SE when you got that. You actually loved it.
I do, and I really regret getting rid of it, to be honest. Yeah, I regret getting rid of that, to be honest. But it was, it is. You can only have so many printers to use at once.
That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, I am at the point now where I'm thinking, if I get any more, I'm going to have to remove some.
Yeah. So, and it's got it's got a faster. So it says here it's got a faster cooling system. So that's obviously integrated inside, to keep the screen cool. So that'll be quite interesting to see how noisy, how loud. Absolutely. I have had a look at their software, Longerware. I was a bit confused by it. But that's because I use lychee slicer, and
Yeah.
I've got so used
And
to it.
the thing is, you can always. I would imagine you could probably swap across to lychee. You wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I've already put it on there.
So
I've added the printer already, but there's some really let me open it up. There's some really weird settings on there actually, which I've never seen before, especially
right,
on a resin printer. If it opens for me, come on, wakey, because it's not going to work. It's going to be oh, here we go. It's loading. It's loading,
so
and it's
yeah.
always slow.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh.
it takes a while to kick in lychee.
Bit like me in the morning on the way to work.
To be honest, it's
Hello,
like me 24/7. Hello, Mr. German.
Mr. German. It's good to see you.
Oh, we're getting there slowly. There
Carl's
was another
teasing for the
update not long ago.
Oh yeah, there was, wasn't it? And that looked interesting. That looked quite.
Yeah, some nice little
Yeah.
features on it now. So let me minimize so I can make sure I read it properly. Come on. You know when you want things to work, it just goes so slow.
It's the law.
And if anyone can hear it, and if anyone hears any raindropping, it is absolutely lashing it down here. It started raining about an hour and a half ago, and my garden is like a swimming pool.
You know, you were saying it was super hot yesterday.
Yeah, it was dead muggy yesterday.
Evening, you were all saying in our group, in our personal group, that Carl suddenly piped up, it's baking in my shed and that. And with him saying that, I looked out my window. It started raining in it. We got about 25 minutes rain. Weird. It just stopped.
Right. Come on. Right. So anyway, I'm not going to share the screen because you don't want to see my pictures. They might scare you. Right. so it's done that. Let's have a look. Come on. Wakey. Right. Let's edit. So on here, so when you go into like the settings for it, when it works, come on. I know it's late in the day, but come on. Come on, Lychee.
You can do it.
For once work.
You can do it.
Oh, do you know what? It's a pain in the backside. Come on.
It's all right, my main laptop, because I've got like a laptop and a notebook. My notebook I use for like resin prints, and it runs lovely.
Yeah, I've got an old laptop here now. Well, not an old. It's a couple of years old. I got passed to me the other day. I'm going to use just for slicing. So on this slicer, so normally you have like your burning layers, which is your first couple. So this is preset to 80 seconds, which is a long time, but it is a 2K screen. But then you've got your layer thickness, which we know about. Wait before print, which is normal. Exposure time. First section lift after print, then first section lift speed, then second section lift after print, then second section lift speed. And you're like, there's some interesting ones. And then there's a lot of compensation stuff to do. So I am going to have a look at that. But I'm assuming.
You can alter between lift.
So yeah, so your burning layers. So if you got 6, which this is preset to, so your first section is that, and then your second section you can adjust the speeds and the retraction, which is I suppose a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, that could be interesting to play with, to be honest.
Maybe a bit of overkill, but we'll see.
Yeah,
but
so if you find more speed, that could work really well.
Yeah, and I got rid of my Mono SE, and I regretted it the minute I got rid of it, to be honest, because I wanted to mess with clear resin and throw stupid things in it like everyone seems to be doing. And then I was like, I can't do it on one of my 4K ones. No, the wife would kill me.
No.
So then when Longer contacted Martin contacted them about something about our website we've got up and seeing if they wanted to be doing a bit of stuff with us. And they offered to get us a resin printer sent. So
basically, if anybody didn't know, we've been super busy, and we have now built a website which is up but still being loaded onto, which is 3duth.co.uk. We've partnered up with a new start filament company, which you've probably seen everywhere by now, with iWe Colour, who are doing awesome filaments, and we are partnering up with loads of different producers like Longer and adding product onto our website as we speak.
Yep. And I have to say,
so it'll give you guys in the UK an opportunity to shop.
I really like. I have to say, I've tried.
Yeah, go on, Carl.
I've tried Eron's dual color and I've tried iWe's dual color, and I think I actually really like the iWe color one, and it prints really nice. And the gents, the chaps from there that work there are fantastic. They're so polite, so
they're brilliant. I mean, they go above and beyond, really, don't they? They have been fantastic with us, and
yeah. And I've been helping Alex out as well.
They're helping us, I think, just as much as we're helping them at the moment.
Yeah. So
it's going to be really interesting to see this next year unfold, really.
And they've just got, and Alex has just got his resin printer, his first one. So it's nice. So yeah. You get a
He was talking, and I suggest.
Yeah, they need one to get. They need to get some resin out as well, which would be really good for them. So you get your decoration of the EU, and we're not part of that, so that can go.
Yeah.
We get a couple of these 3M filters, which I don't use because I'm too lazy, and I just leave all the resin in the back. And the one thing, when I was on James's stream, Honey Badgers, the other day, this is one of the only printers I know where you have to assemble the UV casing. It's
the panels, yeah. I mean, James has just messaged actually to say he's going to jump over in a second.
Okay. But it's quite a heavy box, so we might as well go through. I'm going to have to get this anyway. So anyone want an EU plug, let me know and I'll send it over. Because no use to us, is it?
Anybody wants an EU plug, I'll put loads in the. I'm not going to say. I think we should start an EU UK plug.
Well, yeah, we could do like.
I'm sure some of you EU guys.
Oh God, here he is. Here's the riffraff.
Here we go. How are we, chaps?
Here he comes.
I'm all right. I'm just trying to destroy the picture.
You must have a bundle of.
I don't know what any of those words were. All I heard was
Here he is.
Whatever's going on in Carl's space.
I was finding a kettle.
Well, we decided we'll send Carl a load of.
Right.
Oh, got a bit of
echo. It's like a real weird echoey thing going on with Carl's microphone. I don't know what's going on. It's like a whoa.
Hi, Teddy.
Hey, Teddy.
It's because it's got a spring. He's actually talking through one of those slinky dogs
right
go down the stairs.
Oh dear.
So yeah, we're catching up with speed, guys. I reached out to Longer to do with our website, and they kindly sent Carl a Longer 30 to unbox, and we thought we'd give it an attempt tonight, because it's interesting.
So which one is this? This is the Longer Orange 10?
30. No, the Orange 30.
Oh, the Orange 30. Oh, okay, right.
So it's a little bit
it's the next one up. They've just brought out the 4K, haven't they? And this is the one, the predecessor, if you like, the in-between model.
Right, okay. This is the 2K model, yeah?
You reviewed the LK5, didn't you, James?
Okay.
Yeah, so we've reviewed the LK4 and the LK5.
Yeah.
and they were brilliant.
But we're quite
Both
here
of them were, to be honest.
Nice.
For FDM machines,
Yeah.
they are both bang on, and for the price, they are excellent. So
we were just saying this because
a nice little fancy
I
spatula.
knew longer waves,
but it's
Nice
not got any
one.
gold on it. But fair enough.
and
It's got yellow.
it's close. It's yellow. Basically, I've known longer for a long time, and they've always been really good at price point.
Yeah, I mean, look. So an LK5 Pro right now, which is CR10 sized with a touchscreen, no auto bed level, and it's not direct drive, but it's $329.99 US to your door.
That's
Like-
not bad at all.
Which means
That
for
isn't
UK
bad.
people, it's sub £300. Like sub £300, that is worth a punt of anybody's money.
Yeah.
For that build volume.
Well, let's be honest. What's a BL Touch? 20 quid?
Yeah.
20
So
quid,
the only
maybe?
thing I would say is you can't fit a BL Touch to it. So it's a proprietary
Right.
longer board, and it's a proprietary
Right, okay.
longer touchscreen. So if you fitted a BL Touch, you'd be buying a new main board and you'd be buying a new screen.
Yeah. So okay. So even
It's
if
a
you just
machine
got
that
it,
is what it is, right? It's a machine
the
that
size of it,
you could definitely do a direct drive upgrade to it if you wanted to, but
that's
there's
enough to do, you know.
yeah, and that's not fantastic. Does it come with 2 build plates?
No. I was just going to use my Harlot Plus one
Oh right,
as,
okay, fine.
as an example because
say.
it's like it's nearly the same width,
Wow.
As it is long.
but
Yeah, but the
it does-
Plus is
it
quite
does like
chunky.
it looks like a piece of cheese, like you get in a Trivial Pursuit, the angle.
Yeah.
But that's to help the resin pour off when it's going through its job.
Going up and down.
Right.
No, that's quite
okay.
clever. Quite clever.
And the only downside is I've got to now build the UV cover. So it could be make or break this.
Look, I mean,
Where it's cold, it's more likely to break.
yeah, I mean, look,
Hey, Teddy.
I know that they're trying to save on shipping, and I guess it's probably that that
It
the
made it
reality
smaller.
is yeah, it makes the package smaller and all of that. It does
Let's
feel
be honest.
super janky. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's disappointing, but my argument being, if it works, yeah.
But
yeah,
the thing
and I
is-
mean, look, I mean, so I've got the Vauxhall Lab next to me. So really, what's that? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not anything major.
Let's be honest. At the end of the day, it's protecting your eyes.
Yeah. Well, it's not for that.
Yeah.
It's to
stop
keep
the
the
sun
UV
getting
out
in.
of the. It's to stop the resin from curing in the vat.
Out of the resin back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I suppose
better
if
than
that's the
your
downside to it, because how much is it?
149.
$149.
Hang on, let me
Dollars.
check.
Dollars.
Oh,
Not even
yeah,
pounds.
dollars.
I was going to say that the
$150.
10 is 119.
Yeah.
149.99 at the moment for the longer 30 series. Like,
30.
And Teddy, who's in chat, actually unboxed their 4K yesterday
oh, okay,
because he's starting to get into the old resin printers now quite a bit.
right.
But I was just saying there to Martin before you come on on Lychee Slicer.
Yeah,
It's got on this resin printer. You can you've got obviously your burning layers and then you've got your normals. You can actually adjust your first burning layers, and then after that you can have different speeds for the next part. So if you want to increase the retraction or speeds or whatever, which I haven't seen it on there before. Which I was like,
so I have to admit, I've struggled to enjoy using Lychee Slicer. So I don't particularly like Lychee's support settings. And actually, so me and one of our viewers have recently got new machines, and Cheetu Box on the new machine slices easily twice as fast, if not 3 times as fast as it did on my old, not crap, but my old machine. Lychee is just as slow on the new one as it is on the old one. And the new machine is like 10th gen i7. There's a 3080 in it. Like it's a beast of a machine. And Lychee still runs like a bag of balls. Like it's just so slow. It crashes all the time for me. Like I just...
Well, when I open Sheety Box, it kind of just looks boring. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but it just looks boring. And I've had more failures using that slicer than I have with any other slicer.
Funnily enough, James, I've got my Hornet back at the moment printing.
Oh, have you? Is that when
Yeah.
you put the whole tool head on? Did you change the tool head?
No, I haven't done tool heads or anything yet. Oh, I've changed the next tool head, yeah, but it went up storage for a little bit because I had another machine.
Right, okay.
So I finally bit the bullet, grabbed it back out, and it's currently doing, or it started, a big scenery piece for another building to go probably in the garden at some point.
Xeno Hunter just saying shitty box. So when it comes to Cheetu, I want to be clear, we have a pro license, which I'm super annoyed about because so when
Teddy's ashamed
because his lychee is French. So when we got Cheetu Box Pro, we have an M3 Max coming, an Anycubic M3 Max, and Cheetu Box have made the plugin for the free version and not for the Pro. Like that's a kick in the dick, isn't it?
Well, unsubscribe. Stop paying for it.
I mean, like, look, I mean, obviously, we're very lucky in that we're able to get a lot of that software for free. So things like Cheetu, but I mean, admittedly, I haven't tried Lychee Pro. I don't know whether Lychee Pro's faster.
We've had this conversation. I've said because James that we know got me onto it, and I didn't realize how much quicker it was. And I know I'm paying £4 a month extra, but it just for that £4.
So here's the thing that really annoys me about that, right? I 100% get that when you buy a pro version, it's going to have more features. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that it's gonna, have more, because you're investing in devs, that you're able to say, right, we can put in new printer settings, we can toy about with new support settings and all this. There should never be a pay for performance.
No.
There shouldn't be.
No.
It should not be. If you have a license, this will do it, because all that means is exactly the same issue that people had with iPhone and everybody else when they found out they were throttling their older devices.
Yeah.
Exactly that. They're capping everything back.
Yeah. To me, so I will be clear, I don't think Cheetu Box Pro slices any differently, any quicker or any slower than my free Cheetu Box version. I have both on my machine. Both of them perform the same. I prefer the UI on Cheetu Box Pro, so I tend to use that a fair amount. But I find that they both perform the same. But
so on Cheetu Box, do they have like a resin index as well?
So that's an excellent question. I believe they do. Let me open up my Pro,
because I've actually found that quite helpful. With like certain brands of resin.
Yeah. So they definitely have a decent number of printer profiles. So
because obviously everyone's settings are going to be different. Like you can be using the same resin printer as me, and just because we're in the UK doesn't mean my settings are going to be the same. You might be warmer down there, so your resin might be a slightly different reaction. And everything else. Mr. German.
He gets into a bit of a a minefield with people trying to use the same settings, doesn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a bit like, so, I mean, people have gotten better about it, like asking about, oh, what are your settings on groups? They've gotten better about that. Because you try to explain to people in the early days of 3D printing that I could give you my settings and they won't help you because your machine is different. Like even between two Ender 3s, you know, the performance difference between the two can be huge.
Way out. Yeah, like, so, you know, they've helped a lot. I've played around with them and tuned them a bit, and yeah, they're working fine for me. You know, there was a little bit of exposure difference between the two.
To be honest,
but yeah,
most of my
help.
exposure times are very similar. It doesn't matter what brand. If it's a standard resin, it's always about 2.2. You know, and like ABS resin, light resin, obviously it needs a little bit more burn. Right. Did you see, James? Did you see the Big Giant video today? Well, live.
The Big Giant video that
from
went live
from iPhone. You know, their big. 8K.
Oh yeah, the Giant 8K. Yeah, I've seen it. I've had conversations with them about whether or not we'd review it. I
like the doors.
Yeah, look, I mean, I like the doors. I feel like it again. It is a machine that is made for people who ultimately have, you know, who are in dental and things like that. And it's just not my jam. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not an audience that we currently cater towards. We don't really cater towards sort of professional, semi-professional people. It's not really the kind of, like, I don't feel like they would see a lot of return on investment for having sent us one of those machines. And I'm not interested in just having machines for the sake of machines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like you say, if that kind of printer is definitely aimed at jewelry makers or dentists, you know, where they can justify the $2,000.
Yeah,
because they make that back within a week.
Absolutely,
you know, teeth,
absolutely,
and everything else.
High detail stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So in answer to your question, I'm in Chi2 Box Pro at the moment, and no, I don't see any preset resin profiles at all. You can import resin profiles. So a number of resin websites do have Chi2 Box settings that you can pull in, but that's pretty tricky. Bearing in mind the variance between different UV sources, different screen resolutions, different, you know, different curing speeds and all that stuff. So,
and to be honest, you know, Matt Farmer, he loves Shooty Box, doesn't he, as well? So, you know, he
does. Yeah. And again, I mean, I loved Simplify 3D for ages. So like the first 4 years that we were printing, I bought a version of Simplify 3D. It wasn't licensed to God; it was licensed to me, and we swore by it. We were getting brilliant results, and then Cura came out with tree supports, and I think we're now 4 or 5 years later since we started using Cura. And there's still been no update to Simplify 3D. Like, it's still objective.
I know Teddy in chat likes Simplify 3D.
So again, I was getting great results with Simplify. The problem is when I switched to Cura and I switched to tree supports, because of the size of models we do. Like, so I mean, like, so over here we've got like, so slicing up something like this into all its component parts and all of that. The problem is as soon as you're trying to put supports on this, Simplify, like putting tree supports on, cut our filament usage by 60%.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like 60%. And then we started doing sort of dense support layers and all this, and it meant that we were getting glorious surface interface. I don't know if I've got anything here that's probably got one.
Well, while we're talking, I'm actually on only the second screen. This is like probably the most difficult thing I've ever peeled in my life.
Right. Have I got anything in there?
You can see
Simplify
why it was
focus.
better to come to you, Carl. It's kept you busy for like half an hour now.
I'll be having repetitive strains.
Probably what
of
we
it.
should have done is research this, and Carl could have done it.
To be honest, I thought
here
it was
we
just
go.
going to be a quick peel.
So this should show it off fairly easily. So right, so this part printed like this, right? So inside of each of these windows, tree supports. The base of this had tree supports on it, and there's barely any. There's barely any. There we
Just
go.
moving James across so we can see better.
There's a spider inside of it. So yeah, so there's barely any support interface layer there at all, and this whole area, all of this was all covered in tree supports, and then it was supporting the roof, which you can
Surface.
possibly see if this will focus. Well, anyway, there's hardly any support interface there either. Like it's smooth to the touch. It was one of the best examples I had of how well trees, if you get your settings tuned in, how well tree supports can perform
Nice.
for you. Because obviously that's literally a completely 90-degree angle bridge.
Yeah.
And it did a fantastic job. That was printing on the blocks.
And the first time I actually used tree supports was when actually I did
Yeah.
your honey badger print.
I love
Yeah.
trees.
To reduce the density. And I
As
just
say,
couldn't
for
believe
us, the sheer amount of filament that we save on those larger models, I now can't really use anything other than Cura. Because until the other slicers come out with tree support equivalents, I see loads of people talk about Super Slicer and Prusa Slicer being better. But until those tree supports can be replicated, can't do it. Can't switch.
Yeah.
Oh, Martin's frozen.
It's not for the first time. Dodgy Devon internet.
I was going to say, has he not put 20p in the meter again?
It's probably my kids are playing Fortnite. It's just lagged him out, as usual.
Right. Well, yeah, as I say, so we swore by Simplify 3D for ages. We swore by it for ages. So there was good 2-3 years. The problem is in that time, there were absolutely no updates. And until Simplify 5 comes out, which, to be clear, I will refuse to pay for. I will not buy a copy. I paid £150 for my Simplify 3D when I bought it, and I was promised lifetime updates. Then they promised that if everyone who bought a license inside of a year would still get it. Well, that was 3 years ago. Like, what are they doing? This must be the most heavily tested piece of software that's ever existed. Like, I'm pretty sure it's meant to come out on Windows XP.
Oh, that's showing its age then, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? It's taken them way too long. They have damaged their brand so much.
Yeah.
I don't see how they can recover from the damage they've done to themselves. They would have to bring out a slicer that made everything else look 10 years old. They'd have to.
Yeah. Just to let it sit around for 10 years.
Yeah, and they would have to make sure that they were providing regular updates. Because the reality is Cura gets updated once every 2-3 months.
If not sooner, to be honest.
If not sooner,
I went to Cura 5 and there's already, 2 more out since.
Yeah, so it's now, I can't remember what we're on now. I think we're on 5.10 beta 304. That's what I'm on right now. And like, yeah, I mean, I have all the settings that I need. I genuinely think that every slicer is ultimately the same. G code is G code. So it's all about the features that it lets you use and the stock profiles that it comes with that you can then build from and customize for your machines.
Yeah.
Cura has hundreds of printers inside of it that you can always find one at the very least that is the right size, that has a similar tool head that you'd able to use as a base, even if you have the most obscure printer that you can possibly think of. You know, are you having fun peeling that?
No, not really. I can think of about 7 million other things to be doing than peeling paper off an orange.
Oh dear, brilliant!
But
I don't understand why it's so like just come off as a sheet, shouldn't it?
I don't know. Do you know when I seen it? I thought I'm gonna have 5 amazing peels, and it's just
no.
diabolical.
So yeah, so look, I mean, I don't think Cura is the fastest slicer. I actually think Super Slicer, having used Super Slicer in the past, I think Super Slicer is probably the fastest.
Yeah.
Prusa Slicer is also pretty feature rich. And to be clear, I'm sure that if you have a Prusa Mark III, I am sure that it works fantastically on a Prusa. Unfortunately, my results in Prusa Slicer varied wildly between machines. So my Hornet did fine. The Voron came out like garbage. The artillery was fine. The FL Sun was fine. The blocks was garbage as well.
Yeah.
Laser cut panels.
I had to play with
asking whether it is so SJ Leons is just asking whether or not those panels are laser cut. I assume they are.
Probably not. We had them. It could have just been squeezed together in a mold, to be honest.
What, you reckon they're poured? Can't be cast, surely.
They're not cut. They're
No?
exceedingly smooth. There isn't like anything jagged unless they've paid someone to sand them down, but they're exceedingly smooth.
I would imagine they're CNC'd. They can't be.
Possibly,
They can't be cast.
But I tell you what, they'd be
Like
really
you'd never get them clear like that casting them.
They'd be really good to go on my laser enclosure.
Yes, that is true.
As my viewing eyes.
If lasers on them, it's more likely to be. If paper's on them, it's more likely to be laser cut. There you go. So because the paper's on there, it's more likely to be laser cut. I mean, it'll be an industrial laser, right? They're not using an atom stack, so
no, not at all. Well, I got bored today, so I stuck my I've put
returns.
I've put another 50 billion.
I've put my 2 trees up on the wall now as well behind me. So I got my atom stack and my 2 trees.
Right. So are you? I mean, you're not cutting on the wall, surely? They're just up on the wall out of the way, are they? Or are you actually?
They do work on the wall, but that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. So that's to encourage children not to follow suit.
I had 5 minutes of boredom, and it does work on the wall.
Okay, fair enough.
Carl's actually created a new window because this weather has got too much for him.
Right.
Oh, it's horrible.
So he's just putting his lasers on the side of the building so he can just cut big holes in them.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to annihilate humanity. One laser at a time.
4 people blinding Carl's
neighbours.
Oh, fuck my neighbours.
4 people walking around, they can't see nothing. It's brilliant.
Either that or it hits them at just the right angle, and now everyone in his neighbourhood's got perfect vision.
Like my kids are running to the shed when I've got my glasses on, doing lasering. And they're like, why have you got glasses on? I go, because I can see and you can't now. And they're like, oh, okay.
I've
told you.
Screaming PPE at your kids.
You need to knock on the door when you're coming in, just so I can say, no, you can't come in. And they're like, oh, well, I'm only young.
You know, I mean, I
10 and blind.
Especially with your kids, I rather suspect they wouldn't pay any attention anyway. But could you not put something on the like a light on the outside that, unsurprisingly, you would laser cut?
Do you know what my kids would say? Do you know what my kids would say to me if I put a light on outside my shed?
Why is the light on? And open the door. Who's the light on outside?
Who's left the light on outside? That's because I place them all around the house. Like, who's left the light on in the bathroom? Who's left light in the kitchen? That's all I have to say to them every day for every minute of every day. So they would not. They would come to the shed.
I'm curious to say the orange 30s interface.
Well, we might get there.
It's not a Cheetu, but we're almost there. It's not a Cheetu board, is it? It's not a Cheetu board in that. Can't be. It's got to be a longer board.
I think it's a longer board, isn't it? I think it's probably another longer board and screen again.
I'd be surprised if it's a Cheetu board.
It could be. I don't know.
No, I'd be surprised if it's a Cheetu board at that price.
I think it'll be a longer board.
See, this is the problem when you get such sort of standardized boards. So, like when you're using a Robin Nano or when you're using Chi2 boards or something like that, they are, relatively speaking, a fixed price.
Yeah.
So it's one of the reasons why. So I don't know if anyone ever on the stream actually used Nano DLP while it was out. So it's still out now. It's still an option, but Nano DLP runs off a Raspberry Pi, and highly customizable, much like Clipper. But nobody really knows enough about their printers to be able to say, like, oh, it's like there's loads of settings you've got to be able to know that you need to know the technical spec of your screen or that sort of stuff. But Nano DLP, one of the reasons why a lot of people moved away from Nano DLP was literally because of the cost of Raspberry Pis.
Price point on them.
So it just meant that there's a cost, there's a pay to play situation, right? If you want to have a Chi2 board and a Chi2 screen, then a 10.1 inch 4K Chi2 box screen and a board that can power it costs $150 to the manufacturer, as an example. I don't know that it does, but let's say it does, which means that before they've put anything else in it that they can source, they've paid $150 for that machine, and there's no way they can bring that price down. And that's the problem with using standardized boards.
If I was doing this for a job, I would have earned £5 by now. Half an hour. And I haven't even got the elastic bands on it yet.
I'll tell you,
it's not an elastic band that holds it on, though, is it?
Yeah, it's banded together.
No.
Yeah.
With little foot.
Oh, hold on. That's bad.
Hold on a minute. I just need to mute myself.
I think it should have at least come so you could glue it.
That's appalling.
That's the bad thing with this lid.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Would it have been that difficult to have laser cut the corners of that so that they clicked in? Would that have been that difficult? I don't think it would have been.
How can you get it so they slid in like you know those interlocking sliding ones?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this open because I've got to shoot and go pick my daughter up because my father-in-law's not too good at the moment, so my wife's with him. So I will leave this open. If you want to keep chatting, if it finishes, I can shut it down. Just message me. But I should be back in about 20 minutes.
No worries.
No worries, man.
So we got the H2 anyway, so
I'll do the rest of the peeling when I get back. Got nothing else
take it with you and make the daughter do it.
No. She just screams at me for not picking her up on time. I was like, well, I've only just found out.
Just whipping it out the window.
Can't get back without a panel.
Right, I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm just looking it up. Like, I don't feel like it looks like that on the when you look at it.
The picture, does it?
Yeah, when you look at that on the picture, that does not look like that. It doesn't look like it's held together with an elastic band.
It looks kind of nice on the picture, and
yeah,
I was surprised when Cole said,
"Oh, that's cheeky as well." Like they've even got when they've got the cover on the accessories list, they've even got a fully assembled cover.
I like it. That's good. That's good advertising, though.
That is budget. That is budget. I don't like that.
As a lot have probably seen on like our groups and everything, I've been working with Yusu to make this new resin. So I'm actually looking forward to Carl getting this set up because I should have some resin going to Carl.
Is that that's the multicolor resin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the UTH. Really cool. Yeah, so that was a fun project I've been thinking about for a long time, and I decided to approach them.
So help me to understand how that works, because without going into sort of the technical detail of it, because obviously that means that you must have two resins that are different densities that don't mix to create that, right?
It's to do with the color pigment in there as well. Because if you think of car lacquers,
if
you add additive to the lacquer, you can create pearlescence and you can create tones, flip tones. So basically, it works in a way where it's reflecting light at a different angle. So you're going through a chemical with different angles of light.
Right.
You see, so
Okay.
it confuses your eye. Basically, it is a different color, but it's not. It's just a reflection.
Right. Okay. So it's a bit like TVR paint, where it creates the illusion of like the oil slick style, rather than actually being two colors of resin.
Multiples mixed.
It's the way it refracts the light. So as you turn that resin round, it'll actually change color in your hand.
Exactly.
Right. I did not get that. So I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was literally like, so obviously what you can do with like a clear resin is you can use the monocure dye kits, right?
Yeah.
And then you could theoretically put some dye through it, turn it one color, put some dye through it, and then in theory it would come out a little bit marbled effect. But it's actually more like a pearlescent, or more like
style
paint style. Right. Okay.
Basically, when I first approached them, I went with the idea of doing an additive line.
Yeah.
So you had almost like a powder additive line that you mixed in to your clear resins, so translucent colored resins.
Yeah.
And it would create different effects. So you'd get crystals, or you'd get prism effects, candies almost.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That was initially where I went. And
which I would bet if you were doing maybe not even really with SLA. The problem is that you're constantly shoving a build plate into the resin that's constantly jiggling it about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the only thing you would get away with on that side of it would be glitters, because you'd just be shaking glitters.
Yeah. But how would glitter? But I mean, you'd have to be very careful with glitter, because surely that would because if you had something really glittery, you'd have to have a very high particulate count.
Exactly.
And as soon as you did that,
your bed,
it would affect the density. It would affect the layer adhesion. I mean, we're talking about 0.02 layers.
Yeah, I mean,
the most part.
The lowest micron one we could get was down to 0.002 on the powder. But the problem with that is you were getting build up after a while. So you're pushing the powder to the screen. The screen was almost solidifying.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
I mean, you just have to look at what glitter filament does to an FDM printer, right? Like if you use it on a brass nozzle, you won't even get through half a spool before it bores out that nozzle. Yeah.
So basically, I obviously at that point is when I started talking with Yusu, because I know them really well. I talk to the manager there quite often.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, funnily enough, we are thinking along the same line on a duel. Sort of took my ideas, combined them with what they know. That I mean, they'd make resin, for giggles. So they combined my idea with their knowledge, if you like. And the next thing, the first of the UTH was born within 6 days of me talking to him. He actually had created the first.
So they've got. I mean, everyone sort of. I know everyone sort of rags a little bit on like. I feel like people rag quite a lot on sort of the Chinese companies for lack of innovation and things like that. But you've got to be a fairly solid material scientist to be able to chuck something out at that pace. Like,
I mean, their facility they've got there, and I can't stress it enough, is actually next to none. I have not seen another resin lab anywhere that's even close to theirs.
That's quite impressive.
It is an insanely cool setup. I mean, first off, they took me on a video tour of it, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And then literally every time we were talking, they were sending new pictures, new videos in different parts of this lab. And I'm like, what's that? What's that do? What's that do? That looks cool. It was one of them. field day for kids. I'm like, ooh. So come the end of it was the perfect choice to actually approach Yusu.
Just correct me if I'm wrong. They do make a bunch of other people's resins, right?
They do make, well, they have customers.
Right.
So basically, they'll form an idea or a filament or a resin or whatever it may be, produce it and make sure it's running as should. And then they will allow their customers to know about the product.
Right. Okay.
Whoever wants to come in and all the rest of it, it's typical business where if you've got a product, you'll keep X amount in a certain way for yourself, and then X amount you'll release.
Yeah, I get you.
So yeah, it seems to work, and in all due fairness to them, they're pretty phenomenal at what they do. They really. And
I mean, I remember having that conversation with Matt Farmer, and he said, I think you'd be surprised at how many resin companies there actually are, because there really aren't as many as people think.
No, it really isn't. But then that's also the same with filament.
You've got a bot on Twitch.
Brilliant, and I can't get rid of him.
Oh right. Whose channel are we on Twitch? Are we on Fanatical Fenton's? Are we?
Yeah. So that's good.
Wow.
Brilliant. Yeah. So filament, you'll be surprised on. There is, even to the point, there is different brands out there which are actually the same company.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like there's a lot of there's a lot of it. Like there's an awful lot of it. Where there's not again, there's just not as many filament companies out there that you want. Like the amount that eSun resells is mad.
Oh, it's mad. It's insane.
Like and the same with Sunlu as well. Like the amount that Sunlu rebrands is
crazy.
Like, it's crazy. And when you find out how much they're buying it in from
Sunlu, it makes you cry, doesn't it?
When you're like, how are you doing that for like $3 shipped to somebody for them to then repackage, rebrand, and for them to then sell that £3 spool of filament for like 15 to 20? It's mad. I mean, there's loads of places that do it. I think I remember a while ago there was a I'm sure it was on TikTok, but there was a guy who had a real bee in his bonnet about it's not Cotswolds Company. It was some furniture company. I can't remember who they were, but anyway, they were selling. If you typed in the name of what they were selling, they'd not even changed the name. If you went to, it was like they were selling like Wayfair. It was Wayfair. They were selling like, it was like an egg chair almost.
Yeah.
Made out of like aluminium, and it was meant to look like it was like from a plane or something like that, which absolutely wasn't, but whatever. And they were charging like £1,200 for this chair, right? It was a super expensive chair. And then this geezer just kept going on their website and posting links to where you could buy them on AliExpress for like 150 quid. It was exactly the same chair with exactly the same name. They'd not even changed the name.
It's mad,
and they were just, and he was like, and he said, and on Wayfair it said, it was like, because this is a specialist product or something. It said there's a 2-week wait time. And on AliExpress, or no, I think it might be Alibaba, but on whatever platform it was, it said there's a 2-week lead time in shipping. So Wayfair, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, was literally drop shipping these things. They were just getting them from China and drop shipping. They weren't even storing them in their warehouses.
See, I don't. I've got nothing against drop shipping at all. I think it's brilliant, but don't take the mick with it. Come on.
Yeah, I mean they were absolutely, they were gouging the price on this on this chair.
I actually reached out. Well, I had a chat with BQ,
Oh right, yeah.
and they've sent me a H2 extruder,
Oh
which
okay.
I'm quite
Yeah,
excited.
I've got the H2.
I'm quite excited. And initially, I thought, oh, that could be really good because I will put it on the Cobra
Right.
because I hate the Titan drive on the Cobra.
Right. Okay.
It's a plastic Titan and it just chews everything.
Yeah.
It just. So I thought, okay, that'll be cool. I went in, looked today, and thought, let's have a look at the firmware and just see, what the situation with. They haven't released any firmware. There's zero firmware for the original Cobra.
Right.
They have
So
not.
okay though. Okay. So hold on though, because what are you under the impression you'd need to change?
Apparently, I've got to go in and change heat and all sorts with this.
No, so you don't.
No?
So first of all, the thing to remember is that the same heat cartridge and the same temperature sensor will just fit inside of that. So you don't need to change the heat cartridge or the thermistor at all. You could do a PID tune. Yeah, so I've got one on my no, I haven't. I've got one. Yes, I have. I've got the H2 is on my FL Sun.
Right.
And then I've got the Triangle Labs like Hemera clone thing
I
that's on
mirror
the
thing,
artillery.
yeah.
And I mean that thing's amazing. Like I'm
They're
loving
brilliant, aren't they?
it. Yeah, they're really good. I mean, to be clear, I actually think I think the H2 is actually better. It's way lighter. It doesn't have quite the same torque because it's like a planetary gear thing, but it's super light.
It's silly light. And
which is why I put it on the FL Sun. So I still need to do. I've now got Clipper on the FL Sun, and I put that's a QQS Pro, and I ended up putting linear rails on it, and then I ended up changing the extruder and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, so for the H2, you would, if you need to reverse the motor, so you don't need to use their heat cartridge at all.
See, it's nicely packed. It's all very compact, nice.
Yeah,
it's
a Gucci bit of kit. Like it is a Gucci bit of kit.
I mean, they have brought out now because we were talking afterwards. I had Tactile. They've got the H2O or water cooled version of this now.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and it looks pretty.
Look, so I'm not ragging on water cooling, right? I'm not ragging on water cooling. There is only one material reason why you ever need to water cool your machine.
Yeah.
And that is that you need to is that you have a heated build enclosure and therefore trying to cool your extruder. Yeah, classic. Trying to cool your extruder with warm air, unsurprisingly, doesn't work. So you have to put that cooling outside of the machine. Now, there's a couple of I'd say there's probably a couple of exceptions to that. If you're dealing with something like a VZ bot, and the VZ bot is a like they've like designed a brand new type of nozzle and tool head for it. Like it's a Hypercube Core XY. But it started its life as like a Tronxy X5 SA, I think. And then they've done like loads and loads of customizations to it to make it into this really like complex pellet extruding machine thing. And it makes sense that it's got to keep up with it because it's got such a high melt zone. But
that's actually stupid light, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy small. That's why I put it on the Delta, because I wanted to turn. So the QQS doesn't have a direct drive. So it's exactly the same heat block. Yeah. So providing that the Cobra has a cartridge thermistor, then but even if it doesn't, you should still be able to cut and splice it in.
The Cobra is an E3D lookalike.
What a V6? A V6 clone.
V6 sort of hot end.
A3DP UK.
Hi, 3DP. Phil will be able to tell you exactly what the hot end is on a Cobra because he is the man that is just Mr. Cobra.
Is it a volcano on it or anything, or is it?
No, it's a standard V6, I think.
It's a
the
V6.
shortens, you know,
It is the
short
V6
cartridge.
Volcano, is it? Oh, okay,
There
fair
you
enough.
go.
So that should mean, in theory, that it has a small cartridge thermistor. So you may very well find you can fit that to that.
Just
If
swap
not,
it over.
you should be able to splice it in and just swap them over. But you shouldn't need a firmware change for that. So if you need to do your very cool compact looking extruder, Teddy, yeah,
It
it
is
is.
very cool,
It's a
Teddy.
it's a tidy little job.
These are
So
actually a really good price at the minute as well. I think they're sub 100. They're less than
that's
£100.
pretty good. Yeah.
So
The
I'm not
biggest
really.
issue you'll have is finding a bracket that, I mean, obviously, if you're a dab hand in Fusion, then you can.
I've actually got to make one.
Yeah. So I was very lucky. There wasn't. Sorry, I had to make one. I had to make a bracket for the Sidewinder.
The only thing I do not like, yes, direct drive, Ted, Phil. It's BQ's H2.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a bit sad about is you've got your extruder, or should I say your hot end cooling fan.
Yeah.
There's nothing for part cooling.
Ah, right. So
You've
the way
got to
part
print it.
cooling works on mine is. Oh no, hold on, not on that one.
You have to print a bracket for it.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. No, I was thinking of the Triangle Labs. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you'd have to figure out a bracket.
So you get this one,
Yeah.
which is here.
Yeah.
And then you got to make something to come off of this side of it.
Well, I mean, so you could make one that goes off of the. I was going to say you could make one that goes off of the screws that go into the
that one, I guess.
That one.
Yeah,
you could make one that sits in front of the fan and just sort of comes round the side like a little plate.
They have got an STL on their website for the part cooling bracket.
Right.
I've not yet looked. I've actually been so snowed at work. I've not had much choice this week. It's been painful. But apparently they have got a bracket, and I think it's a 45. So it sits. I think I could be wrong. If you know what I mean.
I'm just looking now. Yeah, there's quite a few actually. So
yeah.
So I'm just looking on.
That's not too bad a retrofit. I will get that.
There's a couple on Thingiverse. There's a couple that fit to the front. There's a couple that fit to the back. There are a few options.
I mean, I'm just looking. I think. Yeah. See, the Anycubic one. The Cobra is sat the opposite way round. So where that wheel is at the front.
Yeah, so you can't have it that way. You have to have that wheel facing out the front, otherwise it won't sit flush.
So I would have to do firmware for positioning, wouldn't I?
No, you should be able to do that through Pronterface.
Yeah. Yes, reset the home. So, yeah. Okay, that's something to play with this week. That's going to be interesting. And then what I'll do is we'll go back into a video of maybe fitting it, and actual first run.
M851. I knew it was down there. So M851 lets you set your X, Y, and Z offsets. So you could do that in Pronterface. And
cool.
Same drill,
okay, we'll have a look
resetting your E-steps. You could do a PID tune if you felt you needed to, but ultimately you should provide. I mean, if you have to change the thermistor to fit inside of that, if you have to change the heat cartridge, you can splice it into the wires that are already in there. You haven't got to chase it all the way through. I don't know whether or not it's a cartridge one that goes in there or not. It's definitely a cartridge that goes in the H2.
It's looking like it's the same, to be honest.
So you can stick that in there, and that's easy enough. And you can use the cartridges on the machine, so there shouldn't be any wiring. If you find that your motor's turning in the wrong direction, because obviously it's a direct drive versus the Titan, depends on how they've reversed their thing. Then you can do that in wiring rather than doing it in firmware.
The black and the power and negative, isn't it? And
yeah.
Get around that. That's not a problem. It was just more the fact of the homing I was kind of worried about.
As I say, so M851 will let you set your X and Y offsets So you should be able to, you should be able to
calibrate it to roughly the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. It should get it to where it needs to be, like
somewhere close. Somewhere close. Oh, Carl has just messaged me. What's Carl put? Let us see. Back to just driving. He's just on his way back home, so he's probably about close now because I've seen that a couple of seconds ago. So he'll be close to a sec. But yeah, that was kind of nice of them. They sent me this and they've said, look, if you can do a live stream on it, which this sort of is. This is an unboxing of it, so that's quite cool.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah,
sort of. And then what I'm planning to do is our next live actually do a fitting to the Cobra if it all goes well, and we'll get a bit down and dirty.
It was interesting, really, because so like E3D obviously brought out the V6, right? There were V5s and everything before that.
Yeah.
When they brought out the Hemera, inside of 2 or 3 months, Triangle Labs brought out their clone, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's fine. That's a clone. That's what you'd expect. But then very, very quickly, there were a number of other companies that brought out smaller, short throw, very compact. Here he is. Very compact, very light, extruders.
Alternatives of it. Yeah, it went crazy, didn't it?
Came out to the point as to which Big Q is probably about half the weight of a Hemera.
It's ridiculously light. I'm still amazed on how light this is. It's like insane. Oh, hang on.
Hello, Jen.
Does it tell me spec?
Right?
Oh yeah, I just love driving on roads with absolute cocks.
Right.
It's just old people over the age of 55 should be just shot and not given a license. They can't
people
drive.
keeping you on your mobility scooter, is it?
I wish.
Just get out of the road.
It's just they're the ones that cause accidents. Like they brake 17 times before turning down this road. On one-way street, they went down the wrong way.
Hey guys.
Ah, Mr. German. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
There's a competition about to start. That's right up your street.
Oh, hey, you guys saw what Totelling posted on Twitch about the colored lithophane? No. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks awesome.
What, the one I posted?
No, maybe.
That was months ago.
I'm not sure.
That was months ago.
No, this is about Astroprinter would love to have that probably. It's about a space picture. A picture from space, a star constellation. And it looks so nice. Wow. But there's a lot of filament what you have on the side what you have to get rid of because you can't use that filament. So
Can't use what filament?
The ones you got on the side.
Yeah, and he used a pallet. So you have the leftover tower.
Right, yeah.
Perch tower, yeah. You call them perch tower, I call them leftover tower because that's just what's left over and you can't use crap for nothing.
We can eat it.
Yeah, you try it. I send it to you and you eat it.
Let's have a
Matt
look.
German. All I'd know is it'd be white filament if it was from you, so I'll be all right.
I find white filament to be very bland, so that's why I don't eat it.
Yeah.
Better than black. Like pure black.
This is interesting. So now I've got all the stickers off. Let's build.
Oh, isn't there one where you have to put the squares together? Oh, wow.
Well, I tell you, this is actually quite naughty. It's literally full metal, isn't it?
What's that?
Literally. Yeah.
Oh, what, have you just literally taken it apart?
Yeah.
Not even got it out of the box
I'm
properly.
not
and
being
he's like,
funny.
"Oh,
I've
I'm
got to
stripping this
find out what this is all about, and this is damn cool quality. This
See,
is
I like-
really good quality. It's
I like their
literally
water
metal,
cooled one.
everything.
That's nice.
Yeah, we just talked about the water cool. Funnily enough,
Yeah, as I say, I mean, the only reason you would have a water cooled unit, a water cooled hot end, is if you have a heated building building enclosure, which means you cannot use a fan to actually cool your hot end.
it's not
Really, the only reason you would actually need one.
It's not 100% true. I kind of need it because it's got blue LEDs inside and it says
Well,
BQ.
that is true. Yeah, I didn't realize there were blue LEDs, and everyone
Yeah, if
knows
you
that
look-
RGB makes it go faster, so that's
Oh.
that's fair.
10 times.
Yeah.
Makes my Harlot look better with a blue screen on it.
Does it?
Like a polished
So,
chair.
yeah. No, I couldn't help myself there. That was probably the worst thing I could have done because they're a pig to get back together. But I'm really impressed with that. As in, seriously impressed with that.
I mean, look, it's 218 grams, I think. I think
Well,
it's
this one-
218 grams for the whole hot end, which is about 100 grams lighter than the Hemera is.
If we go into serious talks, it's about 10 stone lighter than me.
Yeah.
Which makes it pretty light, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh, you seen what Maker Hub just posted 4 hours ago about the Lucky Bot chocolate printer?
Well, they can suck it.
I've seen that, yeah. And they were printing a rabbit with it, and the rabbit looks terrible.
Oh, well, it was actually an owl, so it must
An
have really
owl,
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
You
an owl.
can't tell the difference between a rabbit and an owl. You know that thing's weird.
That's how bad it is,
That's
people.
how bad it is. Can't tell the difference between
I
a
was
rabbit and an
thinking
owl in it.
rabbit. I was actually looking for the ears and stuff, but apparently it's
Honestly, look, I mean, the reality is there are a couple of actual chocolate printers that are out there, right?
raw.
They are not worth the bother. They're not worth the time. They're not worth the energy. They're not worth the effort.
I mean, I like the idea of it. If it was quick and it sort of like done it itself, I would get one.
Yeah, on it. So right. So I've been reached out by Weebooks. Sorry, have reached out to me about the Lucky Bot like 8 times now, and each time their only solution is they tell me that first of all the version that I had was an engineering version, which it wasn't. Then they tell me that they will pay me to take the video down. And then they tell me, and then they tell me that that they'll buy me an Ender 3, send me a new Lucky Bot, which to be fair is a threat, and then I can do another video on it. And I was like, look, I lost 14 hours of my life to that horrendous fire hazard, right? It was 14 hours. When I'm on my deathbed and I think I didn't spend enough time with my kids, there will be a 14-hour block of time that will have been dedicated to dealing with that.
You got kids?
No,
not anymore.
Not
anymore. They went missing in that 14-hour window.
In that time he was doing that,
you could have created them.
In that 14 hours, all my kids died. And the reason why they died was because I wasn't paying attention to them, because they were sticking their fingers in all the plug sockets, and I was too busy playing about with the Lucky Bot.
In that 14 hours, they should have been created.
Exactly. That missed my opportunity. That's the only time.
Yeah.
That's the only time where, like, it's like a solar eclipse, right? There's only one time a year where I could have done that.
So basically, they owe you children.
That's difficult because I
might send you some Chinese children.
I'm a firm believer that Asian babies are easily the cutest babies on the planet.
They're cute. They
Like
are.
Asian babies, I would throw away 4 white babies for an Asian baby. Absolutely.
Oh, don't let
I'd
my wife
discard
hear
them like
that.
we were in Sparta off the top of that mountain. I'd just be like,
Babe, you
yeah.
have to listen to this.
It was absolutely. Asian babies are worth at least 5 white babies all day.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, dear.
This stuff is a pain, unable to use here. I don't know what that means.
This stuff is a pain. What stuff?
What stuff?
Well,
we
by the way,
talk-
that's
Hello.
one elastic band gone.
I'm hoping we're talking the
Stressed
pain,
up.
I've
not
just broken
not
the
just our
elastic
live stream. Teddy's like, this live stream's a pain. I'm out. There. Okay, no, I'm pretty damn impressed with that. So I'm going to get that stripped down this week now, because I was thinking of sending it Carl for his ender, but I think I've changed my mind, so he might not get
Screw
it
that
now.
guy. Carl's got too much good stuff going on to have
Yeah,
someone send him
you've got too
extruders.
much. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that will not fit in that shed, Carl, with all the crap you got in there.
He'll put it on a wall. We'll be fine.
Mount it.
It's space there.
I was going to say, look, he's got some space right there. Like, the bit of the ceiling he's not used yet. Like, there's loads of stuff.
He said he would trade 4 white kits for an Asian kit.
Right, so that's
Didn't say
very
Asian.
different than
He
what I
said
said.
Chinese.
What I said was,
Oh, Chinese, sorry.
I said one Asian baby is worth. Oh, the stuff is a pain, unable to use it. Yeah, Teddy, 100%. Don't bother. He was talking about the Lucky Bot. It's an absolute garbage fire. Like it is appalling that they have let that go out the door. The fact that they tell you to disconnect the extruder and just leave it on the desk, because that's not a fire hazard. You lose 200 millimeters of Z height, so that's super useful. There's no part cooling fan, so all it really succeeds in doing is taking some perfectly serviceable chocolate, melting it into a tube, pushing it out of that tube, and making a worse square than the piece of chocolate before you'd melted it. All it succeeded in doing was robbing me of 14 minutes of my life.
Well,
I thought it was 14 hours.
14 hours.
Actually, it's like a teleportation chocolate machine.
Yeah,
But
but a terrible one. Like the early version. Like the one where you put it in the transporter and it comes out as like a mutant mess because like a fly accidentally got in the transporter with you. And
like
it's this
really
horrible
bad
person with like
Star,
weird 5
Star
eyes.
Trek Gem 1.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple of videos actually about this printer, and the VAT that's on this is actually metal.
No.
I think.
Oh, is
but
it
the last
cast?
one, I think so. Or it's really actually it feels plastic. It's plastic.
I was going to say it's plastic, isn't it?
But the one that they've started reviewing 2 years ago, if you look online, they're like the worst welding of metal you've ever seen in your life.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It was like something that Noah's Ark did.
Right.
And he had llamas doing it for him.
So basically,
famously welded wooden ship, Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
They've basically polished the welds out then.
Yeah.
Well, it's just plastic, so.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of people doing die-cast VATs now, and I haven't seen many designs of VATs that have actually genuinely been set up to fail. Like for the most part, they're pretty good. The main reason most of them are made out of metal is just because the sheer amount of tension strength that you have on it all the time.
Yeah. Well, my Mono X is, I think, a metal, and my Harlot's a plastic, I think, or is that metal?
Teddy's like, every day she asks me for a video, but it doesn't work. Mate, I had to block them in the end. Like the engineer who was originally reaching out to me was like, can you send me a video of what's wrong? I said, no.
Do you know
all you need to do is stand in a room where something isn't working. Stand in a room where there isn't a printer that is printing chocolate and video that, because it's the same as my room.
Do you know what the best thing is? Originally, I had spoke to them about one and they blatantly ignored me.
Honest,
They reached out to us. They reached out to us to say like that they wanted us to do a review, and we were like, And do you know what? Actually, it was one of the first times where somebody had reached out to the channel to
Yeah.
say, like, we want you to review something, rather than us, like, doing the rounds
Right,
and
yeah.
trying to message people and trying to find the head of marketing and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
The first time, and then that was what turned up, and it was such a kick in the dick. Like, it was such an unpleasant activity from start to finish. There was nothing enjoyable about it, and at the end,
Nothing
it was
pleasant.
just dangerous.
I got
Like, it was just objectively dangerous.
basically. I reached. Well, obviously we published a website with the article on.
Yeah,
Myron actually reached out to me, which I was like, hell yeah, because we've been promoting Iron for God knows how long now.
yeah,
So basically, they reached out to me and they sent me 2 of their jewels to start with,
yeah.
and then we're in talks about a project that I'm planning, or we're hoping to go to Birmingham NEC next year.
Yeah.
For the expo, with a couple of our supporting groups. So, We Colour are hoping to come over with us, and possibly EYO 3D from the UK
Yeah.
are coming with us. So I explained to Iron that we're hoping to do TPU t-shirts.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Doing like some, if they did a silver, doing a TPU chainmail shirt would be really cool. But getting the links to work would be
It'd be a
difficult.
pain in the ass. So, well, let's go off. They have turned around and said, look, we'll supply you with a couple of rolls of rainbow TPU. Which
Yeah, you could do a really gay chainmail, I suppose.
we could go
Right.
as gay pride under the hot end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a start and have a bit of a play with doing logos to start with.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then from there, we'll see where that goes. Because that
Well,
could
look, I
get
mean, we've got a lot coming up. So we've got the Bamboo Labs X1.
yeah,
That's coming, and it's the carbon as well, and it's got the AMS. So we're super
Funny
excited
enough,
about that.
Matt on our team's got the carbon as well.
Has he?
He went and got he pledged and he
Oh,
paid.
so to be clear, we pledged as well. So
Yeah.
so we reached out originally when who was it who got it? It wasn't
What?
Teaching Tech. It was
Yeah.
Edutech. It was the Edutech. So we saw the Edutech. We reached out, but unfortunately, by the time we reached out, it was too late to get
Too
one.
late.
So we backed that. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, Matt.
Then we've got an Anycubic M3 Max that's ready to be picked up. That we need to go and
Lucky
get.
boy.
We have a secret 10.1 inch 8K printer that's on its way. We've got a Mega 8K, one of the Frozens. This weekend we're doing the laser, so we've got the the X-Tool D1 Pro.
Nice.
So that's a 20-watt laser. That's gonna be pretty impressive to mess
I was
about.
struggling along there. Look.
I was gonna say,
you should have yourself on full screen.
Crack.
Get yourself on full
Not yet,
screen,
Matt.
mate.
Yeah, just give me a minute. It's not doing what it's meant to be doing.
Damn it.
That's what I said. Crack.
So I've already got my first TPU print here from BQ. They supplied my first print. I might have to do one. Just a rubber duck.
I mean, there's no reason you couldn't. If you can get a yellow TPU, it'd come out all right. I would have thought it can't be that much overhang.
I'm thinking a rainbow rubber duck.
Right.
I think that could be quite cool, and we'll just do a big one.
Yeah.
And it can be like the mascot for the live. We'll get the audience.
Guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you because I've been yawning pretty heavily for the last for the last hour. I think
call you
in a minute.
You have a good night, James.
Yeah, no worries, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
Spend the weekend, mate.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, take it easy, James. Nice one, mate.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.
So, how is it to actually level that goal? Because that's a weird shape you're pushing down on.
it's actually flat on the bottom.
Yeah, I
So
get that. Is it?
So obviously the angle, but it's so on my other printers, it's got a bit of a spring to it, a bit of a give.
Yeah.
So when you home it, it goes all the way down. With this,
Yeah, but you're supposed to unscrew first the screws and then go all the way down to home and then realign the bed.
Mr. German, please look
What?
at my screen.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I have 2 big resin printers there.
Oh yeah, I know. You get one. I know you get
No,
one
but
from
what I was saying,
Anycubic.
I brought that one.
Yeah, you won this one. Yeah, I think.
I didn't
Yeah,
win
you
this
won
one.
this one.
Didn't
No,
win
No,
it.
the other one you win.
The Harlot, no,
Anycubic one.
Yeah, Mono SE. I haven't got
Mono
that anymore.
SE. That's gone. That one.
That one's
That
gone.
lived its life. It's
gone
now
to
living a better life.
Yeah, where it's being used and not abused.
Yeah, where it's sitting on a shelf instead of being ruined.
It's so on the other build plates, they got a bit of tension and a bit of spring. So when it homes, you get that push, on the screen a little bit that you want. This just doesn't seem to have any give.
Mm.
You can easily crack your screen then.
Oh, trust
Don't
me.
do what you're doing.
Well, I can do it. I've cracked a few screens already, so.
Oh, Cole's a master at cracking LCD. He's pretty good at it. It'd be a successful live if we didn't actually do something wrong. And so far, this is going quite well.
Teddy, are you still there? How easy was it to level the bed on the 4K? Because I missed yesterday's.
Yeah, I didn't get to see before. I was quite gutted. So yeah, I was just
the Harlot plus the other day as well.
He's got what?
He got the Harlot plus the other day, Teddy. He won it a while ago.
He? Nice.
Yeah, and there was massive delays in it being sent out because staff had left or whoever was running the competition wasn't there anymore.
Did James said he's going to get the Anycubic Max? Cobra Max?
He's got the M3 Max.
M3 Max.
Oh, all right, the resin printer, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to wait. It's a resin printer.
I'm trying to talk to Anycubic about the Cobra Max.
Cobra Max. I've got the
FDM printer.
Phil in the chat, 3DP UK has got the Cobra Max.
All right. Cool.
Great printer.
And he's got the baby version as well, hasn't he?
Has he got the baby now as well?
I think he's got the baby version.
What do you think of them?
He didn't have it. He had the Minga, didn't he? Magician X for a while. But he was on about getting. He was on about getting it, so he might have it now.
Matt, do you know what? I'm really impressed with the Anycubic ones. To be honest, I think the Cobra it's an interesting concept, and this is not leveling.
Oh, there you go. Teddy says it might be easier using 2 layers of paper.
Whatever.
Carl.
2 layers of paper. Oh yeah, I was just about to do that. To be honest, but did you have the same problem, Teddy? Because it doesn't seem to have as much play as usual ones.
Nah, he just used half the cardboard box.
Probably,
that works quite well. It's a nice little unit, though. To be honest, looking from here, I mean, I'm not having to play with it, so for me, it's quite a nice little unit.
Yeah, do you know what? I like it. It's got a single linear rail at the back, which is nice. So it's, and it's enclosed. So, you're not going to get your finger stuck in there like on the Anycubic ones are exposed. The Creality ones are a little bit.
Yeah, the older Crealities definitely are exposed.
Yeah.
The LD 002 I've got is like, take your fingers off when you look at it.
Well, that's it. Matt, do you do much resin printing now or not bother?
I do some resin printing a month ago last time, and now I have several projects coming up. Tomorrow I'm gonna start up. I normally wanted to do it today. My charity project for changes, where I create those little cups, the
Yeah.
lampshades.
Yeah.
I have to create 25 of them, and
Well, that'll be fun.
yeah, and everyone is individually unique.
Nice. That'll be good.
You're doing all them
Yeah,
in
it's a lot
resin?
of work. No. They will be done in FDM. I done one for last time in resin, but the resin is not the right resin. I'm sorry, but I need to get a better resin.
She's got to design them yet, so think yourself lucky if you get any, mate. She said you might not get any yet.
So Matt, you tell us you're designing them when you're being outed in the chat again.
Yes,
No. She's designing the picture.
Oh,
I'm designing the lithophane.
Okay.
So that's a big difference.
well, I
So
don't
we
know,
share
'cause
our workload.
the hard work's in the picture, surely, because the lithophane, the software does it.
Yeah, but you have to do the right settings.
I'll give you that. All right. Joint effort then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I mean, none of my exes ever would have done anything like this for me. They would have said, he's just doing waste of time and all that. I mean, when I first started 3D printing, all what I heard from my family, you.
See, there you go. Lou does the 2D bit, and you do the 3D bit. See, that's a partnership, Matt. That's a partnership. It's working together. That's a winner, Matt.
Do you just put your name on it, Matt, when you give them away then, or do you have to put Louise's on now? See, this is still loose.
I don't put nobody else's name on it.
It's still loose.
Wow.
No, that's annoying.
Just a bit. I've got another idea.
Drop the Z height down.
Can't go any further.
You're down.
Well, you're meant to push home, aren't you? And then
Drop to it. Yeah.
But when 0 is not working, right, try it again. I'm going to try and hold down one side and then do the other side.
Yeah, it doesn't have a spring to it. I just saw it.
Yeah, not very much, I said. So on the other ones, when it goes down, it gives you tension. This doesn't actually look. On the other ones,
usually it'll drop down and it'll leave the bed sat on the paper, won't it? And you can just put your fingers on and tighten up, whereas that seems to be recalling back with it.
Maybe ice cream. Ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. I want ice cream.
You ain't having ice cream.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Huh?
Vanilla or chocolate?
When you give me one of those sauces, yeah.
We've
toffee.
our 3D pictures on the last part.
Yeah, I tried that. I tried toffee and vanilla.
Quality.
Yeah.
You'll have to get him to do a under the hot end lift.
That's what we've been eating.
That'll be cool. I haven't seen an under the hot end lift yet.
No, give me the strawberry one, please.
At least you said please.
Yeah. Blimey, what's wrong with Hey, he knows where his place is, Matt. He knows where his place is.
No, I didn't say please. I said, give me now, woman.
Yeah, all right.
I'm in my place.
I've just
You've just... What's you done, Carl?
I've just clipped that where Matt said please. See, look, it doesn't...
No, Carl, that went up. That slid up and stayed up.
Yeah, it doesn't go back down. It doesn't retract,
No.
like it should. But that is a little bit better.
Yeah, Teddy says he does an X to do the screws, which is front, right, say, left.
Yeah,
I'll do the same.
I do back, left, and then go front, right. because I'm just awkward.
Yeah.
Actually,
Us
cock-handed,
UK
a
lot.
lot better.
Us UK lot, we work better cack-handed than we do normal-handed.
Yeah, because I eat American way, you know, with your hands. So I hold the
Yeah.
knife in the opposite hand, like most people. We have tension.
Yay! You got my attention.
Mm.
It's hot, right? So we've finally done that. Thank you, Teddy, for recommending the 2 bits of paper.
Ideal,
Right,
ideal.
I'm just literally gonna use whatever's on the memory stick. The only thing I'm gonna whinge about this is, oh, hang on.
Where's the
It is
card?
all at the back.
So basically,
Okay.
it's sideways printing.
What
You've got
you
to
do
stand
is, what I done is, I took an
Yes.
extension USB cable, a short one, a 50.
I do that.
Yeah,
I've
just
got a
annoying,
few
isn't
of
it?
them like, yeah, it's just annoying when it's
It's
in the
annoying.
back.
It's it's no major hardship. It's just one of those things that you think should be in the front.
Yeah, so like Creality have got it on the front now, which I think is great. You know, and
That's
they've got it
not
on
a
the
bad
front,
little screen.
and you don't have to. I had the same problem with the Harlot one. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
It's a bizarre one. Yeah, the Harlot one. Yeah, I can't comment. I haven't had a new resin since 1902 when they first come out with the dinosaur.
So one of the features I did notice about this, and I'm sure it's on the 4K as well, it's got a high temperature warning.
Right. Where was that last week?
Oh, it would have been in
Where
bed.
was that last week? That would have been perfect test.
So on the settings here, it's got. If I can go down, is that quite legible?
Yeah.
So obviously you got your move, you got your about. So it tells you the firmware and everything else. And then you've got back. Then you've got a button that says LED. And then there it has the temperature.
Okay.
So I am assuming a UV lamp will be turned on. Please make sure that there is no resin. Okay. So that is turning on.
Test light, basically. There it is.
So there's the uniformation of light. So
Okay,
We got light.
So it is saying it's 23 degrees in here.
That's warm.
It's not. What's your ambient temperature, Matt?
25.
Yeah. So
I'm 26.3 at the minute.
I actually like that temperature because
That's quite
this
cool.
week when we had the really high temperature, I really struggled with all my resin printing to the point
that was actually quite. That's actually quite useful, to be honest.
Yeah, because the resin was going too thin. It was too thin, and it just kept making a mess. So I literally I put everything away, and like the only printer that I was able to print on, and Martin knows this, the Minga was doing an Air Jordan advert, so it was going around and then doing.
It was brilliant. Every time you got to the bottom right, hello, Matt. Hello, Matt.
The Focus Odin was the only printer that I was able to get printing over those 2 days without any issues.
And the weird thing is, down here, I had my Hornet and the Cobra were both printing fine. Except
it's nuts.
The Cobra has changed colour.
Yes, it's iodized now, isn't it?
It's bleached the anodizing. It's gone brass instead of black.
Matt, where do you vent your resin printers out there now? Then, because obviously when you were living on your own, you had that little vent, didn't you? When you took it out your door, didn't you?
No, I didn't have no vent.
Didn't you have a back door where it went out? You took the fumes out. So you did.
My toilet.
Okay.
So now you just don't vent it.
No.
So how so you just leave it in that room, do you? Okay. So
I have two purification systems.
Yeah.
Right.
What, these ones that everyone brought?
I haven't got one. I never got one. That was bad.
Is that the ones you use, Matt?
I'll show you. Yeah, it looks similar actually. Yeah, I think so.
I think I got everyone to buy them apart from Martin.
Yeah, I was too skint.
So on the display, is it back to front this? No, it's normal. So we have a zombie hunted head, we have the 3 wise skulls, we have a vampire lord bust, and a bracket. So there's
You
4
got some
files.
well cool models with that.
The 3 wise skulls is the hear no evil, see no evil,
Yeah,
talk no evil ones.
What's the zombie head?
I don't know. Maybe we should print that one.
Hey, well, they sound quite cool. I'm actually.
We brought them because of the smell of Matt's flat.
Nothing to do with resin printing.
So this is actually a first on resin printers for me, that I actually got a cover for the back.
Oh, get it.
I've not
Can I see the
I've
cover
not-
in a minute?
I've not had that before. Oh, what, the one that I built?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
How terrible does it look?
Babe, explain to them why the
doesn't
flat was
look-
smelling.
Too bad.
Because you were smoking weed
No, I don't.
anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Since
we lived
since they
in a
took it away.
landfill. There was a landfill nearby, and oh man,
No, since the police come and took it all away.
So I'm gonna have to sellotape those legs on because they're just gonna keep falling out all the
It's
time.
dropping. But
And
it's
also-
actually better than I thought it was going to be.
And I had a mystery package turn up the other day, and Longer had sent me a litre of grey standard rapid resin, which would do me nicely. And I know that most of their other printers, when they send them out, were getting 250ml bottles, which obviously I've not got in here.
What a win.
And-
They like you.
Well, maybe it's you. You're
They
chatting to them more than me.
Might have been me. Maybe it was
But
going to come to me.
Don't forget, like, the bottom line is I am I have a thread made in our group for me. Hi Rob. Because I'm famous or popular or whatever it is. I haven't worked that one out yet.
No, no, I know.
you
I-
famous? Nah.
Well, I'm the group.
There's only 1,000 members. It's not hard to be too
It's
famous.
not
Is it?
overly
I'm more
mental,
famous
is
than
it?
you are.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know.
Only 1.2 thousand members. Look at that. He's got his jig on. This is the part you've been waiting for, isn't it?
What, putting gloves on? Well,
Yeah.
I'm on camera, and I thought I best put them on because
Yeah.
it's not professional to not wear them.
Isn't it?
And I'll be honest, I've had this box for 4 months, and it's still pretty full. and I will say, I only put one glove on when I'm taking resins off. To be honest,
Yeah.
I will say that I get these from a local wholesalers. These are the best gloves I've ever used.
Nitrite ones. Are they nitrite ones?
Yeah, examination gloves, but
Yeah.
they
Basically, what Carl's doing with them,
they
he's
don't
not
rot.
used any for printing. It's when he goes indoors.
Yes, it's to put the prolapse back in.
So,
So, what should we print then? What should we go for? Because
I think
That's
we should
pretty
do the
cool
zombie, man.
the zombie head.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
it was a zombie.
I mean, you've got the zombie, or we go for the monkeys, don't we? The evil, see no
Well,
evil,
I
hear no evil.
Well, to be honest, I think what I should do, so I can make sure this is written up properly, I'll do each of them all before I actually slice anything. And
Yeah,
I'll probably
we'll
get
have a
them. I'll probably get them all done before I go away because I'm away on Monday and I need a break.
Winner.
I need to have some
Time.
time away. Yeah, well, I just need some time because I've had a really bad week.
I bet he's taking. I bet you're taking those gloves, though, aren't you?
Hell yes. I'm going to
Oh
Wales.
yeah.
I'm going to
Whereabouts in
Wales, I
Wales are you
need them.
going?
I can't tell you, Matt, because you might find me.
Well,
I
he's
know where
actually
you
knocking
are.
on your
You
door.
live in England.
He's knocking on your door tonight.
I'm going to somewhere near Balmoral, which
End of
is
the world.
yeah, it's basically towards Holyhead.
I'm actually going away in. We're going away for Halloween this year. We're going back down to Bude.
Very nice. And
Yeah.
where you went, Matt, I usually go there once a year, not too far from there.
All right.
I go to a place called Fanny Moor,
Right.
but there's a Pontins down there which is really good for the kids. And
Sorry.
it's literally just, I
Not
always
less.
laugh when I say it. But on the
Yeah,
plus
that's
side,
wrong. But I mean, oh man.
well, it's Welsh. I can't speak Welsh. It's how it's pronounced.
It's a weird language.
On the plus side, I've got about 50 FEP sheets for this size of printer, so I should be all right. Because
Well, we have actually. If anybody's interested in accessories and that, if you join TigTag 3D Accessories, isn't it?
Yeah.
Group. They're actually doing a load of promotion and testings and giveaways and things at the moment. So definitely worth jumping over.
so
Resin.
yes, they are responsible for the TigTag belt kit, which I will say is in my Wendy house next door because I need to work on it.
Don't drink the resin.
But someone got a really good, successful print off it last week.
Yeah, it's starting to come into shape now. They've got
His
the.
name's Charlie. I can't remember, but he sent me a message and I've seen it in the group. And
Yeah.
it appears that the firmware has been tweaked enough now,
Yeah,
which
they've
is nice.
Yeah.
And they are talking about moving into the resin market, aren't they, with their own resin printer?
Yeah, so,
It won't,
so what
won't be a
currently
DIY one like the Ender 3 conversion.
well, what currently is happening is they are promoting third-party producers or products.
While we're talking about third-party things, so has anyone seen Bassam 3D?
Yes.
So if they are apparently at the moment got a Voron 0.1 for £280.
Yeah.
That's quite
That's
cheap.
seriously cheap.
And they say they sell Vorons, they say KWoo, and they sell some Creality printers. They've got
they've got a bit of a mix, haven't they?
So if anyone's looking for like PEI sheets for their printers, get in contact with them because they can personalize and they can put your logos on them.
Yeah.
And
well
if
worth
anyone wants to message me on here or on Facebook or anything, I can introduce you to them because I speak to her quite regular. Because I want to get some actually, I think, for my printers.
I think I'm tempted to buy one with under the hot end on for the Hornet actually.
Matt, have you got an A20 G-Tech?
No.
I have.
No.
Matt, have you not got
No.
an A20? Okay.
No. Why?
I actually have an A20.
Because I was going to send you some. My contact from there asked me if I wanted a PEI sheet, for my printers, and I was like, yeah, just send it to me. It doesn't actually fit any of my printers. It's actually the A20 size, and she sent me 18 of them.
Were they PEI? Were they or were they glass?
No, they're the the little flexible ones. I sent you the link, didn't I? The little flexi ones.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it briefly, and I thought, oh, glass, okay.
So if anyone in the UK wants any of them, I don't
I'll
know
have
if you
one.
can cut them. I can't do
I'll
anything with them. I'll send you a couple down anyway because
Thanks, mate.
I literally all my printers apart from my Magician X have all got PIs now. Oh, and apart from the Ender 7 because I'm not using a PI on there just yet.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Well, I might put one on
Oh, that's nice, Mr.
stamp collection.
No, it's not stamps. It's basically a picture of lithophanes.
Who he
But I
likes.
made,
Yeah. Right.
and I made it in the collage, and then I took the collage picture and make a lithophane out of it.
Rob NC, is it?
Rob ENC. So what are the pictures, Matt? Are they just like
The
Different
lithophane
pictures.
pictures.
of what pictures
Ones
you like
each up.
butterflies and stuff like that?
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be
I
back.
can show you. Hold on a second.
So this does have a maximum, and it is 300 milliliters it can hold, this resin printer.
Here you go.
Okay,
Let
yes,
me
so it's all
start-
those. So is it most of the individual ones I've seen you do?
Yeah,
Maybe a collage. Very good.
yeah.
So if anyone knows Matt Farmer, and he does put loads of good stuff on his groups, you have to excuse the noise, but hot gun gets rid of all the bubbles. And it does work. Right, now to try and keep these on without falling off. Whoa, told you this is going to be dangerous. So you got much planned this weekend, Matt?
Just my charity work, and then I have to do a couple videos.
What tutorial videos?
Yeah.
You're putting them onto your Twitch channel, are you, and that?
No, I'm probably gonna put them on YouTube and store them there, and then I spread them by spreading the YouTube link.
Well, you know, if you put it onto Twitch, Matt, you can put it onto YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna live stream it.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can add a video onto Twitch, can't you? It doesn't have to be live, does it?
Yeah, I know I can play video.
Yeah, so
And,
you put it on Twitch as well. It just means that more people search, the more chances people are going to find it.
True. But a lot of people are gonna find it anyway because it's gonna go on a. I was told by one of the people who want me to make this. They wanted to put it on their website,
Oh, that's good.
and yeah, so I expect to have quite a few people looking at it.
Free publicity is always good.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually making the video for them. So
Right, so we're going to go for the zombie head. So this is going to take 3 hours and 13 minutes. Oh, look, there's a little image there. Where's Matt? Where's Martin? So, Martin, look.
I'm back.
Look.
Oh, it's like a fufu screen.
So you've got a little head there that shows you the model.
I like that, actually. That's quite nice.
There you go. There's the little Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Go.
Vampire Lord bust. You'll probably like that.
can't
That
see
looks
it's
quite cool.
blurring out.
It's a bit blurry, but yeah, that looks quite funky.
No, it comes from the light itself.
There, I can sort of see it.
Yeah, you
And
have
a
to go
bracket.
sideways.
What's a bracket for? I don't know, but it takes
Probably
an
got-
hour.
To hang something up?
Probably got to print that to hold the bloody case together.
You might be right. But the zombie head is a 3 hours and 13 minutes print, so we might as well do it.
It's the heat over here, Rob, is still sticky, but it's getting cooler, which is quite nice. I'm at about 36.5 degrees in here. 26.5 at the minute.
So yeah, so Rob, it's settled quite a lot in the UK now, but that humidity's higher than I've
Wow.
seen for a long, long time.
45.
Yeah, it's
45% for you, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live on the coast.
I'm at 42.
So it says confirm that there is no printing model in the PRI printing platform and resin tank. No, there isn't. And it's now started.
Crack.
I wouldn't be surprised. It happens on a regular basis.
I don't have this problem with my resin printers that they crack on
You
me.
never use them.
Have it? You don't
I
use
do
them.
use them a lot.
Don't
I use them a lot.
You said you used it last a month ago.
Yeah.
Well,
But because I got married, and I
We're
went on
using
honeymoon.
Amory.
I mean, I didn't even do regular printing FDM either.
Terrible. So
I
on,
know.
on
Terrible.
so considering it's quite a small screen, there is quite a bit of detail, and it is very similar to the Focus actually. So you've got your timer, so it tells you how long it's been printing. You've got the time it's to take to finish, what level or layers it's on, and it says that the temperature is 22 degrees, and it gives a warning when it's 50 degrees.
That's quite clever. I like that. That is quite clever, that feature.
So we are quite fortunate because we never get to 50 degrees here. But
No.
as with everything
But
in resin,
if
never
you've got
know.
all your printers going and it's a summer's day, you might hit that.
I won't. I've taken the windows out.
Oh, well, you won't hit that.
I've taken them out and I've put just some thin, compressed cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I have to keep the light out because of
Resins and everything else. Yeah.
But do you know what? It's I don't know if I can read it.
For what you first showed me of those panels, I thought it was going to be absolutely horrible. But I don't hate it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't hate it because it's actually better than it looked.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
No.
Yes. Carl can't hear us though. So yeah, I'm not actually overly hating that, which is quite good. Right, so I think we're going to leave it there because Carl's
Yeah.
out sound difficulty. So yeah, if you want to jump into obviously the group, you'll find loads of our links. We'll make sure there's links for the longer. There's a link on the screen now. I will be doing links for the H2 from BQ. And basically check out the new website. Would be really appreciated. Subscribe there and you'll find all the new stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes with different companies and things. That'll all be going up this week. And there'll be around 60 of our very own Alan's STLs going up on the site this week. And they'll be free for a period. So all his cult STLs, all his models, they're all going on the website, and for a period, they'll all be free for you guys to download, and you can actually sort of enjoy some of those.
Yep.
All right. But anyway, thanks ever
See
so
you
much.
guys.
Thanks ever so much, Matt. Cheers, Carl.
Thank you. Bye.
See you all later. Cheers, guys.